I still hear these children howling and screaming, saying, please, please, let me go with her. To which the guards would say, nein, du, raus, schnell, you out, quick. Those going to Auschwitz to their certain deaths, those remaining behind to a very uncertain future. And the greatest tragedy of all that was that these children, that was all that was left, their mothers and fathers disappeared, brothers and sisters gone. All these children had left for one another. And the Germans deliberately split them up. I thought that was so unbelievably cruel.
You and your brothers were transported to a ghetto camp in then Czechoslovakia, and you were three of only a very small number of children to survive from that.
That's right, yeah.
Were the three of you actually physically together at all times in that camp?
Yes, we were. We were transported from the main transit camp of Westerbork on a cattle truck, a 39-hour journey, and that's something I will never forget. No food, no sleep, no water, and just the stench that built up in this cattle truck of human sweat, of vomit, of feces, of urine. You sort of felt the oxygen levels within the cattle truck dropping. And I can remember particularly, whereas in Westerbork, the camp in Holland where we were, that was all organized by Adolf Eichmann, the bureaucrat. Every Tuesday, without fail, a transport would leave. They were either going to Auschwitz or Sobibor or Belsenbergen or Theresienstadt, the occasional one. And my mother worked in this camp hospital laundry where basically, they washed the sheets such as they were, I suppose, bandages and swabs. There was no sterilization process. Things were just sort of boiled up in a vat and then hung to dry. But there was hot water there, you see. And so when the authorities weren't looking, my mother would wash her children's clothes to keep typhus at bay. And she also washed adults' clothes and bartered that for food. And because she worked in this laundry, of course, you can imagine it was an absolutely seething place with harmful bacteria. And she got extra rations for working in that place. And what she did was she would take those extra rations and put them in an old, the bread, particularly the breadcrumbs, in an old aluminium saucepan, which you just made, I'll show you it, because I've got it here.
Wow, okay.
It's one of the relics that survived the war, should have got it out and ready for you before, but here it is, it's this old aluminium saucepan. And when that was about sort of a quarter full with bread, she would top it up to near the top with hot water. And then she'd come to the children's home where we were and with one spoon and then feed each one of us in turn until the pan was empty. That was a little bit of extra food that we got. Now, I never ever saw her take a spoonful herself. And as a mother, it must have been unbelievably difficult because all the other children in the children's home are looking on while these three lucky little boys were being fed. I particularly remember the guards coming for a selection in our children's home. By that time, soon after we'd arrived in Theresienstadt, we were separated from my mother, and we were put into this children's home. It was a Dutch children's home, or Dutch children. But the guards came, and they were very, very particular about who they were selecting to be sent eastwards. So to give you an example, if there were two sisters there, they take one and leave the other behind, or if there were two brothers there, they take one and leave one behind, or a brother and sister. And the Germans, they deliberately broke that last link in the chain, and that cruelty that still rankles me. I still hear these children howling and screaming, saying, "Please, please, let me go with her," or "Let me stay with him." To which the guards would say, "Nein, du, raus, schnell, you out, quick." Those going to Auschwitz to their certain deaths, those remaining behind to a very uncertain future. And the greatest tragedy of all that was that these children, that was all that was left, their mothers and fathers disappeared, brothers and sisters gone. All these children had left for one another. And the Germans deliberately split them up. I thought that was so unbelievably cruel.